Okay, we are up to 55B, 55B2. Okay, we mentioned we'll start the Mishnah again, and it goes like this. Bishlosha prokim b'shana. 3 times a year, everybody have it? Ben got it? 55B2, the Mishnah. Shlosha prokim b'shana, 3 times a year, hayakola mishmarat shavot. All 24 groups of Kohanim were equal in dividing the foods of that time. Meaning to say, we said every week there was a different family of Kohanim that were working in the Beit HaMikdash. And the week that you're on, all proceeds that go to Kohanim go to those Kohanim of that week. You know, there's certain parts of certain animals that have certain korbanot. I mean, an olah, let's say the meat gets totally consumed on the altar, but there's skins, the hides of the olah that will go to the Kohanim that are working that week. You work, get paid for that, right? And the Kohen HaMakriv lo yeh, but and if your good fortune was that many people, it was midwinter vacation, and many people came up to the Beit HaMikdash, and I'm just giving a little joke, but whatever time period people would come to the Beit HaMikdash, if it happened to be your week that you were on duty, that they came in January, and people had made a lot of pledges they had pledged to give, they wanted to give, they made vows to give to the Beit HaMikdash, to give donations to the Beit HaMikdash, that all those, and they were coming to fill their pledges, whoever was the Kohanim who were on duty on that week would go ahead and be the big winner, but they would be able to get from those animals, that parts of the animals that go to them. However, when it came Yom Tov, if your week of the rotation happens to be you were on call, it was your week, the week the holiday fell out, you do not get all the parts and all the hides and all the food from everybody's offering that was coming as a result of the holiday. But there is a special mitzvah on the holiday to bring certain offerings, that every male has to go to the Beit HaMikdash to bring the offerings. And that's not something that's specific to your week. It's all about, that's something that's coming as a result of, it's coming as a result of the holiday. And we say in that situation, everybody has the ability, all Kohanim are on deck, all Kohanim are called to duty during the holiday. And you're called to duty, you have the right to, you're working, you have the right to divide in the proceeds of the offerings that were brought. So that's what the Mishnah state telling us. Shlosha prakim b'shana. There were 3 times of the year that all the Kohanim had equal rights to all 24 watches. All 24 groups had equal rights to the food and the skins. Ben, is that clear what we're saying? Okay. They were equal in the sharing the imurim, the parts of that were brought as a result of the holidays. The Gemara will clarify this. What does it mean, the imurei haregalim, the imurim of the regel, that they all had equal rights to? And this is a big chidush, that, as you know, there were 12 breads that were brought every Shabbat. They put 12 new, they changed the changing of the breads, and the breads they would bring 12 new breads, and they would put it on the shulchan, on the table that was in the Beit HaMikdash, and they brought some frankincense on the altar. 2 things of frankincense were brought on the altar, and they removed the old breads from last week, and they put the new breads every Shabbat, fresh breads, and a special miracle happened that the breads remained fresh and hot throughout the week. That was an amazing miracle that happened in the Beit HaMikdash. And even though you would have said that the lechem hapanim breads are not coming as a result of the holiday, they are just the weekly bread. It's like the daily offering. You would have equated it Yet we're going to see that there's a special pasuk that teaches us that the lechem hapanim would go to all 24 mishmarot, all 24 mishmarot, all 24 groups of kohanim have equal rights to the lechem hapanim of that week. They have equal rights to eat from those 12 breads, because what would happen is, after it was on the table for a week, they would go ahead and remove the old bread and give the old breads to the kohanim to eat. And now we're going to say that these 12 breads are not just going to go to the kohanim that are on duty. Usually what would happen was they would take the 12 breads and they would distribute it between the kohanim from the last week who brought the breads and the kohanim of this week who removed the breads. But they don't do that on the holiday time. On that the Shabbat of the holiday, everybody goes ahead and gets equal, all 24 groups, not just those two, the one that came in this week and the one that left last week, because it was done, the lechem hapanim, the breads that you removed this week are removed by the new group and they were placed by the old group. So yet they don't, it's not just those two groups that get it during this holiday, all 24 groups get the lechem hapanim. And Tosfos points out, it says, v'chiluk lechem hapanim. It's just that everybody is equal in the distribution of all 24 groups of the lechem hapanim. However, the avodah, the service of the lechem hapanim, who were the ones who removed the old ones and put the new ones and brought the frankincense on the mizbeach, that was the group that happened to be that week's group. That week's group, the same way that week's group would bring the regular daily offering, right? There was 365 days a year, there was a daily offering in the morning, the daily offering in the afternoon. So when it came holiday, the group that was on duty that week, they would be the ones who would be involved in the daily offering, even though, let's say it's a holiday, so there's extra offerings on the holiday. Those will be involved. Everybody's on duty for the extra things that are brought on the holiday. But things that are not extra, like the morning offering, that's the normal thing you do every day, that would be brought by the group of that week's group, and they would be the only ones who would eat from it. The ones that brought that daily offering during the holiday, they're the only ones who would eat from it because they brought it, they eat it. It's not equal, it's not everybody's involved in it. But however, the chidush is that the lechem hapanim, even though they are the weekly people, the one who's weekly came out, are the ones who are going to be bringing, placing the new bread, removing the old bread. Nevertheless, when it comes to the chiluk, the distribution, the giving out of those breads, those are the morning Simon, it will be all 24 groups will have equal distribution. So that's what the Gemara says. Now the Mishnah, here's the new point that we didn't say yesterday. So the Mishnah says that, Simon, we are on Nun Hey Amud Beis 55b2 on the bottom of the Mishnah. Now, what we said about Seret, during the holiday of Shavuot, when Shavuot comes out on Shabbat, there were two breads. There were two breads that were brought to the Beit HaMikdash. They were made out of chametz. And they were brought on the holiday of Shavuot. And those breads were also distributed to the Kohanim. So now we have on the holiday of Shavuot, if they came on a Shabbat, we're going to have a double distribution. We're going to have a distribution of We're going to have a distribution of the lechem hapanim, the 12 breads that were on from the past week. They were on the table for a week, the shulchan. Now we go ahead and we're going to remove those 12 breads and give out to the kohanim. And also we're going to go ahead and give out the shtei halechem, the two breads on the holiday of Sukkot are going to be given to the kohanim. And there was something uniquely different between the lechem hapanim and the two bread and the shtei lechem. What was the difference? The lechem hapanim, the showbreads, were made out of matzah. They were unleavened bread. And we mentioned yesterday, there is why is it that it's made out of unleavened bread? Generally, there's no there's no there's no chametz that's brought on the altar, right? There's the general carbonot, Hashem, general carbonot is not chametz, right? It's made out of the mincha, the meal offerings that are made not from chametz, are made from matzah. The lechem is matzah. Why is it matzah? So either matzah represents swiftness. Sefer Chinuch talks about this idea about matzah. I'm not sure if he says it regarding this halacha, but matzah represents diligence, fast, swiftness. It goes 1, 2, 3. There's no time, and that's the way life. You have to be on the move. You have to make the move. You have to do things. You can't dilly dally, and laziness is the cause of a lot of not accomplishing a life, and therefore is matzah in the Beit HaMikdash. The other idea is that matzah, that chametz rises, represents ego and these type of things, and therefore that's not something that Hashem wants on the altar. Or you could also say perhaps the chametz more represents more physical. It's a more physical type of bread, more tasty, and maybe it's a little emphasis to the people to remind the people not to focus on your physical, be a little more focused on your spiritual. But I just want to mention another interesting point, that the shulchan, the table which we placed the lechem upon him, the breads were facing the menorah. That means if you had the menorah on the south, so you had if the menorah on the south, you have the opposite side facing the menorah was the lechem upon it, the table. The table was on the north. And Reb David Feinstein said a beautiful idea. Why is the Torah emphasizing they need to face each other? The table has to face the menorah. So he said, because the table, which is the bread represents the physical, right? Sustenance, bread, parnasah. When you're in the pursuit of parnasah, you have to make sure you're facing the menorah. You're facing the Torah. The menorah is ner mitzvah v'torah or. The menorah represents the Torah, the light of the Torah, the enlightenment of the Torah, the guide of the Torah. That's the menorah. And being that it represents the Torah, when you do business, you have to do business according to Torah law. Am I following the Torah? There's a whole section in Shulchan Aruch called Choshen Mishpat, which discusses the laws of business. So when so let's say someone's a veterinarian, right? He has to know the laws of the Torah. He has to know, there's laws of the Torah. You can't neuter an animal, So, you have to know that law, right? So you have to conduct your business, your parnasah, according to the light of the Torah. And so that's an idea. The lechem hapanim facing the Torah. So that's an idea. So getting back, now we have the equal. How do you like that, Max? You face the Torah. It's not that your business, and in business I act one way, and then in synagogue I act another way. No, you guide it through your business, not in your business, not charging interest. Even though it's a business loan, I can't charge interest to a fellow Jew for a business loan. It's a loan. It's not a business investment. It's a loan. Okay. So the Mishnah stated, but so what do you do now? You got to distribute on the holiday of Shavuot. If it comes out on Shabbat, you got to give out matzah from the lechem hapanim. You got to give out from the two breads to the kohanim. So what do you? Do? Now it's very important. It's very important. Now, the fact that the shtei lechem, the two breads that come on on Shavuot are coming as a result of the holiday, right? It's not every week you don't have to shtei alechem, these two breads made from chametz. Every week this is unique. So therefore, it's coming as a result of the holiday. So then all 24 groups have equal rights to it. And also, we said all 24 groups of panim have equal rights in the distribution of the lechem panim. But you got to be careful that everybody got. It's not that you give a guy, you'll get a little extra. I'll give you more matzah instead of having your portion of the shtei alechem of the two breads. I'll give you a little bit more matzah to equal your portion of the shtei alechem, or vice versa. You gotta everybody gotta get what they get. You don't get extra for one thing and leave over your portion of the other thing. So I'll take a little more matzah in the deal and I'll waive my chametz portion. Well, you don't do that. So therefore you have to. I tell everybody this is your matzah portion. This is your chametz portion. Not that you're getting a little bit more matzah. So I don't. So, instead of dividing chametz and matzah to everybody to the groups, I'll give. Let's say we'll say. These 12 groups, you get, you'll get the matzah. These 12 groups will get the chametz. No, we don't do it that way. Everybody gets in both. So that's what the Gemara says. Overall, when you distribute the on Shavuot that came out of Shabbat, overall, you tell every kohen, Helech matzah. When you're distributing the lechem panim, here is your matzah. And when you give him the shtei alechem, you tell him, hey lechametz. Here's the what? The chametz. You can't, one Kohen can't say, let's say, the Gindi family or Kohanim, the Cohen family or Kohanim, the Gindi family can't say to the Kohen, we're on a certain diet. We're on a matzah diet. So we'll take the matzah and you take our portion of the bread, of the chametz, right? You can't do that. You can't say, I'll take this and you'll take that, even though it's the same value. But the pasuk says, "L'chol b'nei Aharon tiyeh." It has to be to all of them. That means it's not just for certain. It's only going to be for certain kohanim are going to get this, certain kohanim are going to get that. So, therefore, we notify the kohanim. You're not getting a double portion of matzah or a double portion of chametz to make up for your rights in the other thing. Max, is that clear? So therefore, we say, here's your matzah and here's your chametz. The Gemara is going to interestingly note the order of what you distributed first. There's no such thing that's random, and the fact that you say here's your matzah, and then you go ahead and you say here is your chametz, that you distributed the matzah, the lechem panim first. So the Gemara is going to use that as a source for some law, to weigh in on a certain discussion. Why the matzah, at least according to this text of the Mishnah, that the matzah was distributed before the chametz. We're going to see there's a big order of there's going to be a big question of what's the order of kiddush on Friday night, on Shabbat. Do you start the kiddush with the Boyer Priya Geffen, or do you start the kiddush with the bracha Hashem Elokeinu B'Chlam Hashem Hashem Mesotav V'Rotzavonu V'Shabbat Kachot? Do you start with the bracha of the Shabbat, or with the bracha on the wine? And we're going to see how this is going to weigh in later on. So the Gemara says, the Mishnah continues, Mishma shezmano kavua. The Mishma that whose time was set, that means it was your week that you're on duty. Like we said, each family of Kohanim does 1 week at a time during the year, and every 24 weeks they would start again. Because it was broken into 24 families. So the Mishma, the family that was that week that was on duty, let's say it was the Gindi week, who makriv tamidim. If it's his week, it's true it's the holiday and all the Kohanim are going to equally get in the offerings that were brought as a result of the holiday. But the tamidim, the daily offerings, I'm only the one whose week was his week. He will offer he has exclusive rights. Simon, right? Some brokers get exclusives, right? You got exclusive. So he got it. The Kohanim that were on duty that week, they got the exclusive on bringing on bringing the what, the tamid, the regular offering, and therefore they have exclusive rights on the skins of those offerings. They also have the exclusive right on bringing cows and different types of donations that people voluntarily are bringing, offered. So it's they whoever's on duty that week, if people are bringing things that have nothing to do with the holiday, they random made a vow, you know, and so they're bringing it. So that's nothing to do with the holiday. So therefore, the group, the family that's on duty that week, it was their week, they would get the food that's distributed to the Kohanim from those offerings. During the year, would make a vow. Let's say comes February. I made a vow. I want to bring an offering to the Beit HaMikdash. I want to make a donation of an offering. But he knows he's going to Beit HaMikdash in April for Pesach. So he would redeem it in Pesach time. A lot of time, and now it happens to be that it was the Gindi week. They get it. It's not something with the holiday. It happens to be it's convenient for them to come on the holiday. They're coming anyways to bring their obligatory offering in honor of the holiday. They might as well. They're going to bring their pledge then also. So now, what's the difference between a neder and a davar? Neder and a davar. The difference is the way you accepted upon yourself this donation. Sometimes you say it's upon me. It's on the person. That's a neder. It's upon me to bring us an offering. And sometimes it means I'm going to that's a neder. And the davar is when I designate a specific item for the offering. I say this animal should be the offering. If I say this animal should be offered as an olah, if something happens to the animal, I'm not responsible to bring a different animal. Let's say the animal died. I don't have to bring another one because I said this is the one that I am bringing. I mean, we have to know more of the laws, but that's the basic laws. But when I say it's upon me to bring an offering, and I designate an animal for the offering, and then the animal dies, since I created that responsibility upon myself, then I would have to go ahead and bring a different animal, right? So that the commentary explains. Neder is when you say it's upon me to bring an offering, and I don't specify a specific animal. So therefore, I am obligated to designate an animal, and then if I designate an animal, that animal died or got lost, I have to bring a different animal. The davar is when I say on a specific animal, this is an offering, and therefore I designated it immediately. I need to bring it to the Beit HaMikdash. If that animal dies or gets lost, I am not responsible to bring another animal instead. Is that clear? That's the different types of. It's the way you obligate yourself. What do you call? Certain levels of responsibility in your obligation. Okay. Ushar kabbanot tzibur u'makiv esakol. And other communal offerings is also the group that's on that week will bring also other communal responsibilities. And now the Gemara is going to ask, what are we referring to? Because we know you do not get rights in the extra offerings of the holiday. So what are those communal responsibility offerings that you're referring to?
No, it's fine.
Ralph, you want to mute a little bit. So what are those communal offerings that we're saying that the mishmah that's on duty that week, they have the rights to those communal offerings? Sounds like the extra offerings that are brought on that day, that day of the holiday, that belongs to everybody. So the Gemara is gonna, Rashi says, identify what is this other communal offering. So obviously it's communal offerings that have nothing to do with the holiday. Again, anything that has to do with the holiday belongs to everybody equally. All hands on deck, everybody equal. But it's nothing to do with the holiday. If they have to be a communal offering, but it has nothing to do with the holiday. And also, and makriv etakol. This group that's on duty this week will bring the regular, it's their week in the rotation, they bring everything. Again, what does it mean they bring everything? They don't bring everything. You told me that we have all 24 groups are on duty for the offerings that are brought as a result of the holiday. So what does it mean? That's what Rashi says. You gotta stay tuned. What does that mean? What does that come to include? So that's the Mishnah. So now comes the Gemara. The Gemara has a difficulty understanding to a language, a word that was used in the Mishnah. The Mishnah said that there are 3 times a year that all 24 groups of Kohanim will equally be involved and have rights and of to to the things that come as a result of the holiday. And it says Be'emurei haregalim, the emurim of the regalim. The emurim, when you refer to emurim, you're usually referring to the parts of the animal that are brought on the altar, that are burnt on the altar. So what does it mean that the Kohanim have all the Kohanim have rights to the emurim? It doesn't go to them. There are parts of the animal that the Kohanim get, that they eat. But there are other parts that go on the altar that are burned. And those are called the emurim. So what does it mean the Kohanim get the emurim? The emurim go on the mizbeach. That's the Gemara's question. Emurim haregalim, the emurim of the haregalim shall gavoninu. They are brought on the altar. They are not distributed among the Kohanim. So how could you say that the Kohanim get the emurim? So the Gemara says, when the Mishnah says emurim here, it does not mean the emurim that go to the altar. Emurim from the word emor, like emor halachanim. The parts that the Torah said that go to that are divided among the Kohanim Kohanim eat, that is equally distributed. Omrav Chizda, it's not referring to the parts that are brought on the altar. It's referring to ma amur b'regalim, the parts of the offering that are written in the Torah regarding the regalim, that are stated by the regalim. Those parts that go to the Kohanim go to all 24 Kohanim. So that's what it means. The emurim. Emurim means what was stated by the holiday that goes to the Kohanim, that goes to all the Kohanim. Tana Rabbanan. Now, the Gemara is bringing a source. The Mishnah generally talks in short. It doesn't elaborate on the sources of the law. It tells us the law. And one of the jobs of the Gemara is to explain, to clarify, to show where did the law come from, right? By the way, the Rambam, Maimonides, got himself into big trouble. You know how he got himself into big trouble? Because he wrote a sefer called the Mishnah Torah, very famous. That's the Rambam that we quote on the halacha. But he said the law without saying his reason, without showing his work, without showing his source. And a lot of rabbis in his time felt you have to show your work. You can't just you just say what the law without where's your reason? Where'd you get that from? So as a result, the other rabbis that followed the Rambam wrote Svarim to fill in the gaps, to show the source of the Rambam. There's a famous commentary called Magid Mishnah. I'm telling you where the source of this Mishnah, of this law of Mishnah Torah of the Rambam. There's the Kesef Mishnah, the silver, the money of the Mishnah, which is also the Rabbi Yosef Cairo, who authored the Shulchan Aruch, Moran HaMachaber. He authored the Beit Yosef. He gave this great commentary on the Rambam, showing where the Rambam gets it from, and so on. So the Gemara now is going to show the work. Where is the source that all the groups of Kohanim have equal rights to the offerings that are brought as a result of the holiday. Maybe it's just the mazal, the luck of the group that's on your week. If you're on that week, maybe that's your luck. You get that all those extra skins and extra food parts. Maybe it's your luck if you are on duty that week when everybody has to bring offerings as a result of the holiday. And of course, and the big winner is going to would be Sukkot. The first day of Sukkot, we said there's 30 animals, and some of them, 13 of them are bulls, which are very expensive hides and very large animal. So how do you know minayin shekola mishmarot shavot beimurei haregalim? How do you know that all of the mishmarot, all of the groups have equal rights in the distribution of the animals that are brought as a result of the holiday? So the Gemara says, there's a pasuk that says, if you look at your Torah Or HaShalem, on your corner, you see you have the Torah Or HaShalem in your Gemara, it has the pasuk. You see on the left corner over here, there's the pasuk there. Got it, Max? Simon? It says, Va Chiyavo HaLevi. The Levi comes, and Rashi says it's one of the times in the Torah, the many times in the Torah, that the Kohen is called the Levi. The Kohanim come from the tribe of Levi, and isn't that amazing? Levi walks in at that time. His name is Levi. We're talking about Levi. So it says, when Levi comes from one of your gates, we call Yisrael, Asher Gosham, he comes, he comes with his desire to come. He decides to come to the place that Hashem has chosen. He goes ahead and he works. He serves like everybody else, like all the other Kohanim. So it talks about a Kohen coming. He's coming and he gets equal rights to work like all other Kohanim. Now, what is this? What's the context? What is this? Bibi was talking about the context last night, right? What's the context that this pasuk is talking about? So the context is talking about, the Gemara says that it's talking about when it says it comes me'achad she'arecha, one of your gates. What does it mean the Levi is coming from one of your gates? So the Gemara says that it's talking about a time period of the year when all Jews are entering one gate. When are all Jews coming into one gate? The gate of Jerusalem, the Jerusalem gate. Everybody's coming to Jerusalem. When is that? During the 3 regalim. All Jews all the males are coming to Yerushalayim. So when the Levi is coming at a time period where everybody is coming to Jerusalem, that's specifically during the holiday season. So he has a right, the pasuk says he has a right to go ahead and serve, even though it's not his week. But he has a right because everybody's in town, all Jews are coming. He has a right to race, and he comes b'chola, says, and he serves like everybody else. And if you serve, then you get to eat. You serve, you have a right to have equal distribution. But there's another pasuk that says the one with makriv, the kohen that brings the offering, he gets to eat. So therefore, this pasuk is teaching us that during the holiday time, when everybody's coming to Jerusalem, you could come. Every Kohen could come. Every Kohen has rights to come. Every Kohen has rights to come. You have rights to come and to work. Therefore, you have a right on behalf of the community. Therefore, you have a right to get distribution. So that's what the Gemara says. Tana Rabbanon, the Gemara says, how do we know everyone is equal in getting the parts that are brought on the holiday? He comes with his desire. He has a right to come, and he could serve. And if you could serve, you could go ahead and eat from it. But you might think that you have a right to come any time of the year as well and serve. I'm only talking about a case of holiday time. I'm only talking about your right to serve and have rights to eat is only during this holiday time that I say everyone has a right. Every Kohen has a right because everyone's coming to Yerushalayim. All Jews are coming to Yerushalayim, but when Jews are not when all Jews are not coming to Yerushalayim, they're staying at home. Those times of the year, every Kohen cannot just come because he wants to come and to serve, bring the offerings of the community. Rather, it belongs or the daily offerings to the Beit HaMikdash. Rather, he has to go ahead. It belongs to the Kohanim of that week. Now, b'chiluk lechem hapanim, we said that the division of the lechem hapanim of those 12 breads are equally distributed among all the 24 groups of Kohanim that were on duty during the holiday season. How do we know all groups have equal rights to the lechem hapanim? Now, even though we just said that all groups have a right to serve in the Beit HaMikdash on the holiday, but that pasuk only teaches us things that are coming as a result of the holiday. But the lechem hapanim, which is not coming as a result of the holiday, the lechem hapanim is the weekly breads that we have in the Beit HaMikdash, right? And I wonder, I presume there might be some Hasidim, might be some people that might make 12 breads every Shabbat, 12 like little chalot, I think. Simon, have you ever seen that anywhere? 12. But I'm saying, I think there might be people that maybe make 12 little chalot, and I think that the reason for the 12 is reminiscent of the 12 breads that were in the Beit HaMikdash. There were weekly 12 breads. We could do a little research. I could ask some of my Hasidic friends. But the 12 breads that were weekly in the Beit HaMikdash, that they would place new breads, maybe just to remind about that idea of Lechem HaPanim. But how do we know that all the groups have rights to Lechem HaPanim, which Lechem HaPanim is not something that's coming as a result of the holiday? It's a weekly thing. Talmud Loma, now we're on Nun Vav Amud Aleph. Chelek kechelek yochelu. This pasuk kechelek avodah, kachelek achila. We'll see tomorrow more. What is the source? So the Gemara brings a source. We'll go into this tomorrow. We got up to Nun Vav Amud Aleph. Mazel tov. Have a great day, everybody. Take care, Ralph.